Yo, what's going on, everyone? Welcome in to an instant championship reaction of snaps here. And it's a, well, wouldn't you fucking know it? At the end of the day, like, what the fuck? The Empire strikes back. It almost feels like lazy writing at this point. As lazy as Disney when they dropped the line in Rise of Skywalker, somehow Palpatine returned. Well, somehow Nick fucking Saban returned. Like we said, man, very talented Tide team. Don't let it get it twisted, and we'll break down the game and how this happened. But the Alabama Crimson Tide remain undefeated against the UJ Bulldogs in Atlanta. And get it done. They win. We don't know where their fate lies. We'll get into that. There's a lot to get to tonight, but winning and really winning in a pretty dominant physical fashion, like a close game to be sure, but the lines of scrimmage, one of the key elements going Bama's way. We'll get into it all. Aaron, I too have suffered at the hands of this directly in my personal life. You have.
The Empire, baby.
Over a decade ago, we both had our moments, and here we sit a decade later. And look, I went through this a few weeks ago. You're going to do this tonight. How are you? How are we feeling?
Alabama's a better football team tonight, no doubt about it. I mean, they came out in that first possession. You're like, okay, Georgia marched right down the field. Was it 80, 83 yards, whatever it was? Just bam, 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 just moving it. It looked easy. You're like, all right, Georgia, like. You know, what's been Georgia's biggest issue this second half of the season? It's been slow starts. Really, this season, it's like, all right, Georgia can't get off to a fast start.
Yeah.
They give up a touchdown. Kind of offense takes a little bit of time, and they accomplish both things. They got to stop, and they score a touchdown. You're like, all right, Georgia, let's go.
Dude, 81 yards. 81 yards. Excuse me. Yeah, 80 just – it was 80 yards? 80 yards?
80 yards. Just
80 yards.
Bam, bam, bam. Just beautifully scripted plays. And then Alabama, the rest of that half, was more dominant. The offensive line for Georgia. I mean, how many times did we see Gary kept talking about like those duo blocks or the double blocks where you're working your combination to the second level and literally putting Georgia defensive linemen on their ass.
Ass.
Like I have not seen Georgia linemen get put on their ass in years. And Bama did it for a good majority of the game.
But you know what's interesting here, Aaron? I don't know that I would say that it was necessarily a majority of the game. It happened occasionally. It happened occasionally in the first half, but it felt like the kind of lack of offense from Georgia allowed Alabama to continue to lean. And I always say, but a great running game works like erosion, right? Like when a water wears down a jagged rock into a smooth pebble. And by the time that third quarter runs around, I think the dog defense was feeling a little bit of that lack of offense, feeling a little pressure, and that Alabama.
They were fine though. The third and fourth quarter was the best the defense played the whole game. It was the first.
That's what I'm saying, but that's also when the runs started to pop off, though. I mean, they were doing everything they could. Yeah, man, the runs. That's when they started to hit late in that game in the fourth quarter. That's
late in the fourth quarter, like the last two possessions, they started popping off. But like the third quarter, I mean, what was it midway through the fourth quarter? Georgia significantly outgained Alabama at that point in the second half. I mean, they became more aggressive. You know, I tweeted about like Georgia's defense in the first half did what you can't do, like sit back and just kind of hope that Jalen makes a mistake. Like he has transformed this season. He's gone from a guy that was mistake prone to a guy that now understands how to take care of the football. And that means if you're not going to rush my ass, I'm going to sit back there and wait 4 or 5 seconds. Eventually, someone's going to be open. He is so much more disciplined with how he plays the quarterback position. You can't just rush 3 against him. You can't do it. And Georgia did in the first half, gave him plenty of time to throw the football, run around. You saw him get into the rhythm of the game a little bit more. Second half, they changed that. And I thought the defense played significantly better in the second half. They kind of said, you know what, we got to bring 5, we got to bring 6.
You know, I think we're talking about the Georgia defense too much anyway. Because we should talk about them eventually, but Georgia outgained Alabama. Like the defense held Alabama to 306 total yards. For all the credit we're giving the offensive line, it was 114 on the ground. That's nothing.
Well, second half they slowed them down. First half, Alabama's having their way.
Again, second half's also when the O-line for Alabama did take over at the end of that game. I mean, they were dumping them, like you said. But the point. The offense lost the game. The offense by far the most disappointing part of the game. So if we ask the question, and we'll start, I think
we can phrase that. We can phrase that in multiple ways though too. Like, did Georgia's offense have a good day? No, but what did we talk about all week? This is the best defense Georgia's faced all season. This is. I said it midway through the season. All these fans were getting on me. Alabama's the best defense in America. Like, that's that. Like, we can say all we want about the issues with Georgia offensively, but like Bama's a hell of a defense.
Look at the numbers. Both defenses basically came out equivalent.
Yeah.
I think it was the lack of playmaking ability, the lack of explosivity that everybody kept yelling at me for, saying, now I know we'll get into the injuries, but like people kept telling me, no, they have it. They have it. The lack of explosivity is the difference. Georgia barely gets the edge on volume, right? They outgain him 321 to 306. The passing to rushing split is relatively even. It's about 55-45. It's 192 through the air for Bama, 114 on the ground. For Georgia, it's 240 through the air, 78 on the ground. So again, Georgia had more yards per play, but they just weren't as explosive. And they made the key errors. They missed the field goal.
They had the missed field goal and they had the fumble.
Which set up a short field that Alabama took advantage of. Great situational football, ended up getting that ball into the end zone. And then they have the fumble, which, credit to the defense, they hold him for 3, which was massive. But that 3 ends up being the difference in the game. Look, the offense, that's what I'm saying, though. The offense was it. Coming into this game, the offense for UGA was supposed to be the difference. It was supposed to be why UGA won. Well, they were the difference, but they were ultimately why UGA lost. And it's shocking on a night where first drive, 83 yards, touchdowns. Like you talk about, the next 5 drives, you gain 80 yards. And that theme kind of continued. Okay, so why did it go so wrong for the UGA offense? Let's do the anatomy here. The what do you call it? The autopsy. Was this Carson Beck's fault?
It wasn't his best game. I mean, the turnover was on him. That's for damn sure. Like, he tried to get too cute with the handoff over the top on the fake reverse instead of just putting into the belly of the receiver. Like, that's on him. Like, you can't be doing that in a game like that. You have to look. As a quarterback, you look the ball into the belly of the runner. Goes right in there. Bam. You look it in there, then you can look up. He tried to nonchalant look away, and boom, ball's on the ground inside your own 15-yard line. Yeah. So, a couple misses here or there, a couple times he held the ball long. Wasn't his best game. Don't think it was his worst game. I don't think it was, necessarily all on him. They couldn't get running the football. I mean,
so that's why I asked you though, right? Yeah. Because normally, and by the way, Alan Berry, thank you for the $10 super chat. So Aaron, about your Alabama predictions this year. Look, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Obviously, Saban and the Empire, the rumors of their death were, much exaggerated. But the reason why I asked you about Carson Beck is because the O-line got their ass whooped. The Alabama offensive line did. The Georgia offensive line. Marius Mims going down to not help anything. The wide receivers got no separation all night. No rah-rah for the game. McConkey hurt. This is the best secondary in the country. Like, we came into this game. This is where I think I was so wrong in the evaluation of this game. I came into this game, first off, giving Georgia's offense more credit for having more weapons than they actually did, even though maybe injuries discolored that picture. But that feels like a massive disconnect. And I expected them to hang better in the trenches. Yeah. Like, same. I'm not saying they didn't get dominated in a way that like a Kentucky gets dominated, but it also, they did lose. They did lose that battle on both sides of the ball. And I don't know that I expected that.
Well, I expected it on defense at times. Like that was the biggest worry. Like, the defensive line was the big what if for Georgia heading into this game, and Alabama's offensive line, like they looked like, I wasn't there. I'm watching it at home, and I could see just the pure size of those guys up front. Like, you could tell.
Well, they became look. Alabama's offensive line over the year became the O-line that they were promised to be at the beginning of the year.
They got better. They were over. But Georgia's offensive line has been really good all season, and as they themselves have also gotten significantly better, Alabama whooped their butt.
Alabama's front sevens, like you said, Alabama probably the best secondary in the nation.
Overall defense,
front sevens up there with anybody in the
defense
nation.
Alabama's defense. Name of defense is better.
No, I agree. But again, I do think Georgia's They were very close. They're very close, but kind of like just like the offensive side of the ball, maybe not quite as explosive because they don't create the havoc necessarily that Bama does. Bama's just got that lockdown secondary though too, dog. I mean that thing was on display tonight. So look, and Carson Beck will be blamed for this, and he is not blameless.
No,
but recognize everybody kind of got whooped up on the O-line. The weapons got no separation. I mean, Dominic Lovett, y'all kept telling me about Dominic Lovett, 2 for 23.
Yeah, he was a no-show too. I was going to say something in the second half.
Like, I know Ra was hurt, but where was Lovett? Y'all yelled at me about Lovett. You and fucking Peter Burns.
Well, I agree. Like, I was feeling that the whole second half. I'm like, where is Vlad is out. Vlad was limping the majority of the game. Bowers, was not 100%. Like, where was Lovett? And it just didn't see him the entire game. Bell made a couple plays. Muse made a catch at the end, but it was tough sledding for the offense, no doubt about it. But
tough sledding is one way to describe it.
It is a mixture.
I felt like I was fucking watching Great Value Bo Nix out there for the fucking 3 quarters of the game, 2.5 quarters of the game. I mean, so now we get into, was it Mike Bobo's fault? A lot of screens.
Well, not just the screens, but I mean, there was one point in the game where I felt like there was like 6-7 straight runs. It was just like run and run and run and run and run and run and get the ball on the outside. And that's a little worry too. Like some of these big third down plays for Georgia, they didn't even trust the offensive line to get downhill. They're doing little pitches to the outside. And just like
how massive was they forced Kirby to waste the time?
You've heard Georgia all year. You've heard Georgia all year talk about their speed from sideline to sideline. Alabama's got the same damn speed.
Yes.
Like you don't want to play an East and West game with Alabama. I don't know if you want to play a downhill game against them either. Like, that's just how good the defense is. But you don't want to be going East and West in a short yardage situation when those safeties are coming down. The corners can tackle really well. Like that was to me, those were bad play calls and also just a lack of trust in your offensive line where you can't even trust those guys to get a yard going downhill, that you're trying to get cute with the pitch.
So again, and look, you couldn't trust them though, right? I mean, look at the second and third and goal, or the first and second and goal there at the end that actually forced Georgia to waste a uber valuable timeout because they could not punch that ball in the end zone those first 2 plays. That was a sneaky, massive job there. Okay, so again, Mike Bobo, not blameless, but does deserve a lot of the blame, though it is hard to call plays when your receivers aren't getting open, the run game isn't hitting, and the offensive line is struggling. But in the end, I think it's probably hard as a Georgia fan, and you can get into the 4th and 5 that wasn't reviewed, and I understand the saltiness there, right? We all do. And you can get into the injuries. That was bad luck.
Play. And you can't ignore that. You can't.
No, we'll get to it. We'll get to it. But and you can talk about injuries as well. I mean, Alabama did after they lost a couple of years ago, right? But in the end, this kind of feels like the year-long fear of what the Beck and Bobo combination would do when they were on the big stage and got hit in the mouth in the big game. And I am the hater. I am the piece of shit human being who stood up there and decried these people through all their success. And I was the illogical, Stugotz, and I love Stugotz, so I say this with love, but the Stugotz bit of like, do it in the playoffs. I was that asshole. And you know what sucks about that being that asshole is that the math is on your side because eventually it's got to go awry. It's hard to win 3 natties in a row. It's hard to beat this offense, to be new and Mike Bobo and Beck and Bobo and beat Alabama and Nick Saban, and yet and you saw how hard it was tonight. So I mean, it fucking sucks, but 3 natties. Told you from the beginning, it doesn't happen. It just doesn't happen.
So, I don't know when we want to get into this, but I mean, I kind of.
You want to go to the penalty? We can go to the penalty now if you want to go to the penalty.
Well, the penalty of the drop pass.
Excuse me. What did I say? Penalty? Yes, I meant the drop.
What's a huge play? It's fourth and 5, and I thought Gary also said this well. Possible 10-point swing right there. You give Georgia good field position with plenty of time to possibly get a touchdown or field goal themselves. Not saying that for sure, but
I'm sorry because I missed some of this drama at halftime. I was having to help pack for Disney and shit. Did they say that they think it should have been ruled incomplete? I saw the still
They
frame.
came back from halftime, so they brought
Yes.
in old Gene into the booth with them. So they came out for halftime, and Gene said, yes, it should have been stopped. It should have been overturned. It should have been an incompletion.
Whoa, wow. I just thought they said it should have been reviewed.
No, he said they should have reviewed it. And yes, he said, based on my judgment, I would have said it was an incompletion.
Hey, do y'all do this in Athens? You know what we do when the Emperor gets helped out by the refs again? We just ask the question, where are the SEC offices? Birmingham, Alabama. How about it, folks? How about it? Call me Tianon, okay?
But I do want to make a statement. Let me give me a second here.
Sorry,
Let me get a second here. Let me get a second. This is, I know there's a lot of Bama fans in the chat acting like this is some excuse. I will say this for the 50th time during this entire show right now. We're 16 minutes in. I feel like I've said this multiple times in different ways. Alabama was the better team today. That one play does not change that. Yes, it sucks. And yes, maybe something would have happened along the lines that could have changed the outcome. I don't know. I don't know. But for 4 quarters, I can tell you one thing. Alabama was the better football team.
Yeah. By the way, I am logging all the super chats, and I will get to them. RedTube says, hey, T-Bob, the master has spoken. Now sit down, you clown. Look, fuck you, Nick Saban. Fuck the Empire. Fuck Palpatine. Fuck all y'all forever. I get it. Y'all, you know, Empire Strikes Back. Like I said, it's fucking awesome. You ain't never going to stop me from hating. In fact, I'm glad y'all won, because now I'm going to throw every piece of energy that I have on this earth into FSU winning this game tonight. And I am going to pray to everything that is holy that the SEC's ass is sitting at home for the final college football playoff. That's what I fucking want. That's what I've been celebrating for 2 quarters already before the game ended. No, look, but to be clear, like fucking Alabama's awesome. Alabama's awesome. I was guilty of underrating them on the line of scrimmage. And I was guilty of overrating Georgia's offense. Also, but what I wasn't guilty of was playing this fucking game of Alabama being the underdog. Okay? Fuck out of here with that noise. Like I've been telling you, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing people he was a lie. Nick Saban somehow convincing a team that had the literal record number of blue chip roster players on the roster was bad, was a fucking David Copperfield, David Blaine times 2 level magician's trick. And you saw it. You saw it here. Because that's a damn good Georgia team, obviously. And fucking Saban's inevitable, dude. Let's
go this discussion then. Because we
just dropped out. At 1,000, by the way, guys, right now. Hell yeah.
Yeah. Everyone, we appreciate everyone. We're over 1,000, like T-Bob said.
We're trying to get to 10K subs. Tell him, Aaron.
Yeah, try to get the 10K subs. Everyone smash that thumbs up button, share. We appreciate it. All fans are welcomed here in the chat with us here at Snaps. All right, T, I want to bring this up. We, Pollock came on. David Pollock came on a few days ago with us and made the bold statement.
Hell yeah, dude.
Made the bold statement that Kirby Smart's the better football coach. Does that change after tonight? Obviously.
Right? That's what was on the line. That's exactly what we said. Yes. This was Kirby Smart's moment. The circle is now complete. I am the master. And look, Obi-Wan ends out on top, right? And it looks like, once again, Palpatine's inevitable. Rise of Skywalker. Again, somehow Nick Saban returned. And I get it. Because last year, they lose 2 games with Bryce Young and Will Anderson. Yeah. And then you lose Bryce Young and Will Anderson. And you don't even have a quarterback. Dominant answer. Exactly. So, I get why we thought they would be less than they were. But this is a great example of just how dynamic and volatile and variable the chemistry of a team is. Nick Saban literally told you that he thought that last year at times that team was playing scared because they had such a burden on them, right? Like they had Bryce Young. They knew it. They had the returning Heisman winner. They had Will Anderson. They had to take advantage. They had to win a championship. This team got a completely different fuel the entire year. Yep. They were just constantly told they weren't good enough. But again, At the end of the day, they're literally the most talented football team in college football history from a pure recruiting standpoint. What the fuck happens when you tell those guys they aren't good enough? It's a dangerous combination. And they're not playing for pressure because fuck it, they're kind of playing free.
Yeah, they are playing free.
They lost by 10 at home to Texas. They already lost. They got that out of the way. And you saw them draw on that strength and once again go into Atlanta and get it done.
Saban, I want to hit on Milroe a little bit more because obviously rocky start. I mean, he missed his first few passes, was just really not getting going, throwing the football. But I thought he ended the game really. I mean, some of the plays he made, some of the throws he made, some of the creative plays that he was able to do, like, make a guy miss, shovel it. And what I say this morning, the number 2 receiver for Alabama had to go off. There was going to be a lot of attention on how to stop Jermaine Burton, and he had the touchdown.
I was thinking about that. You nailed it, bro.
But who ended up making play after play after play after play, like in crunch time? Like it was a drop, but it was a drop, but then you consider
drive. And the nail in the coffin drive was all Isaiah Bond. Yeah, the nail in the coffin drive at the end was all him.
And Georgia struggled all year with that, with that backup cornerback position. And a lot of those times they were playing zone, and he was just wide open. Like on some of those crossing routes, I mean, wide ass open, and Jalen just had enough time to do it. So like, I can't say enough good things about Milroe's progress this season. It's still far from perfect, but guess what? He ain't turned the football over.
Again, Jalen Milroe's a weird one, though. We know he's not turning over the football. He's literally the 4th highest rated quarterback in the country. Like, he doesn't throw for a ton of volume, but he has the 4th best passer rating in the entire country. Like, we said it today. We said it this morning on the show. The original sin of all Georgia fans and I cannot stress this enough. This game is on the offense.
Yep.
And it's on a mixture of players and coaches, right? And it's not any one position, but the game is on the offense. This is not about Smart's side of the ball. Were they the God world eaters that they were the last 2 years? No. One of the funniest parts of the night was seeing the rush defense for the past 2 years, and it's like 78 yards, 79 yards, and it's like 117. What's funny to me, all 3 numbers led the SEC. But obviously one number is not like the others. But it's still not on the defense at the end of the day. You're still leading the SEC. You're still good enough. Tonight, you hold this Alabama offense to 306. 114 on the ground, 192 through the air. That's winning football. 3 of 13 on third down. Alabama was 3 of 13 on third down. Neither team had penalties.
Georgia 4 of 12. Georgia's the number 1 third down team in America. Number 1, 4 of 12 tonight.
So the game's on the offense.
Yeah.
Or flip that. This game's won more correctly by the Alabama defense.
Yes, I think it's more Alabama's
being the best defense in the entire country. And we overrated Georgia because we hadn't seen Georgia catch that smoke yet. You know what I'm saying? They hadn't squared up with somebody that could hit like that yet, and they started getting bloodied up early on.
All right, you want to talk a little bit? Is Alabama in? I mean, do you slay
if Michigan
the Giants?
Wins, Alabama's in. If Michigan wins, yes. If FSU wins, nobody's in because we live in fucking crazy land. What does
Michigan have to do with anything? What does Michigan have to do with anything?
Oh, see, I thought you meant Georgia. Because if Michigan loses and FSU loses, then Alabama and Georgia would get in, I would think. So you're right. I meant if Michigan wins, Georgia's eliminated. Yes. If FSU wins, I hope Alabama's eliminated. And
I think Alabama is eliminated.
I will laugh my dick off. Well, you don't have to, right? But we'll see.
Have to. But there's no way in hell you keep Texas out of the freaking Championship 4. You can't do it.
Oh, my God. When I tell you I will laugh. Because at the end of the day, we really do know that Alabama and Georgia probably should be like in there, maybe both, or at least
they're
one
two
of
the
them,
best
right?
3 teams in America.
Like we all know that was a championship game. We all know that the SEC champion should be in there, right? Yep. And yet, life has a way of creating such weird dynamics, and you have such a flawed, odd.
I can't wait till
like
Texas
is
going to win a national championship, and I just cannot wait to just
there is legitimate, like it is crazy how legitimate arguments there are to be made to keep the teams out of the playoff, considering what an absurd take it is if I told you preseason, should a one-loss SEC champion be in the playoffs? Of course they should.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Full stop. And yet here we sit.
Not this year. Not this year. You can't put them in. There's no way. And I get it. They deserve. Alabama is one of the top 2 teams in America. They may be after tonight. Maybe they are the best team in America. Like, honestly, watch them. Like, Alabama is the best team in America. But guess what? You're not going to get in, and you shouldn't get in, which is crazy. Yes. It's crazy.
Yes. Well, look, Alabama fans, though, should be very happy.
Yep.
About everything that's happened at quarterback with FSU, though, because not only does it significantly hurt their chances of beating Plummer and company tonight, but it also it makes the committee have to think harder, right? Like the committee has to account for this at a certain point. And now we've reached that wonderful end game where Alabama has the best win and the best loss, and yet that best loss may be to the team that ends up going right ahead of them as Texas takes care of business today, makes a statement, barely even ended up watching the game. It was so fucking boring. I mean, Texas just rolling over Oklahoma State, getting it done.
Sark's T-Bob's new daddy.
Chaos. Why? Again, I'm going to talk my shit. Steve Sarkisian fucking sucked up until this year. And this year he was awesome. Like, so congratulate. Hell yes. I told you about the Ben Franklin idea, right? Like, he said, look, I don't want to ever be so beholden to an opinion that in light of new information, I won't change my mind. Well, fuck yeah, Steve Sarkisian. You proved me wrong. Good.
Quinn Ewers, I think. How about that ending to that game real quick? I know we're both talking about the Georgia Alabama game, but how awesome was it to see the Texas fans booing the Big 12 commissioner? So awesome. So well deserved. So well deserved. I mean, just that makes me so happy.
Why should Texas be so? Why should they have animus against Brett Yormark? What did Brett Yormark do to him?
Because he was talking shit all offseason about him, pretty much. Saying Texas Tech. I hope you beat Texas.
Right. Oh, yeah, my bad. Yeah. I forgot about that. You're right. Yes. The original sin still lies with Texas, but he did talk that shit.
He did.
And look, I get it. Look at my mentions. Okay. When you talk shit and don't work out, you're going to hear it. But the real man always talks shit beforehand. Just realize that. There's no value. There's no courage or bravery in talking afterwards.
Yeah.
Look, I respect the Horns. Okay. I respect Alabama, dude. I get how talented this roster is, but there was still a lot of I did not expect Alabama to do this.
Hey, Aaron, do I look like I just got done crying? I feel pretty good, actually.
No. But I think engaging with that comment kind of doesn't help your case. You know what I'm saying? You don't let him see you down. Don't let him see you hurt.
I'm not
or
down.
just let him see you hurt, dude. I go back and forth. On Whiskey and Wine, I will just bitch and moan and whine and complain and blah, blah, blah.
I'm definitely opening up a bottle here soon and gonna watch some more.
I wish you could open up a fucking bottle. I gotta drive to Disney at 4 a.m.
All right. One more time. Once again, we appreciate everyone in the chat. Hit that thumbs up button and let's get ready to watch the Michigan.
Wait, we got to get some of these super chats real quick before we get out of here.
Super chats real quick. Come on.
Turner Young, $10 super chat. Thank you, Turner. Resident UW fan. If Jaden Daniels was really the Heisman winner over Penix, he would have beaten Bama like Quinn Ewers. Penix for Heisman. Shut the fuck up, Turner. When Pollock says Kirby was clearly the better coach, it was over, LOL. Okay, yeah, I mean, it didn't. Look, Pollock turned to that man last year and said Kirby Smart owns college football to his face.
And then Pollock got fired afterwards.
Well, hey, Palpatine don't miss, you know? And if you come at the king, you best not miss. That's another old saying. And Turner, you know I love you, but get out of here with Penix for Heisman, dude. He's awesome. Let him be awesome. He's not the Heisman winner.
No.
I don't need to talk shit about Michael Penix because he's awesome. Turner Young, Aaron, you have no playmakers on the outside. As someone who threw to AJ Green, you should know winners win. UW, the only team in for sure. The lack of weapons just was shocking. Again, this great value Oregon.
We brought this up earlier. I mean, there's a real conversation. Should Washington be the number one team in the country heading into the playoffs?
I mean, you ain't never going to catch me saying no, but I think they're still going to give it to Michigan because where they've been ranked all year and
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying.
handling Ohio State and everything. But again, wouldn't we still
They
then
love Oregon. They love Oregon.
wouldn't we still then just be giving too much love to Oregon? Like, Oregon's a great team. I don't know that I think Oregon's elite this year, and it's early on in the landing process.
Yeah.
All right, we got the XY perspective, $5 trivia. Thank you. Good game, UGA. Now you know how it feels to have your top receivers hurt and have your offense stall. No excuses though. Roll Tide.
No excuses.
I like that. Well, I mean, hey, a lot of Alabama fans heard that. No excuses, and I know that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like you gotta. What is this Patrick B one? You're still my spirit animal, T-Bob. I hope both left out. Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Smart man. James Humperhard. Wow. It's all one word. It looks like a last name when you start to read it. $2 super chat. If Michigan wins, Georgia's done. No playoffs. And if you two had to share a bed, who would be Big Spoon? I mean, James, come on, dog. I'm Big Spoon.
Yes.
Look at how delicate and beautiful Aaron is. I sometimes just want to I just want to kiss Aaron's cheeks. I want to kiss the back of his neck a little bit. Just rub scruff up. Scruff my beard up against his. You can't make
you want to rub that fade up, don't you? You just want to massage that.
Look how much has come in already. That shows you how tight it was at the beginning of this week. BA Stone Cold Tide can't win them all, but 29's a hell of a run. Isn't that crazy? 29. Now 29 ended up being the record, right? The SEC record, at least.
SEC record. Yes.
Yeah, not the overall record. But couldn't get to 30. So weird how that worked. I mean, just it's odd, man. And what the last loss was to Bama in 2021, and now it comes 2 years later in
700 and
Atlanta once again.
700 and something days, I think, something like that.
Look, Georgia fans, you feeling a little down right now? You know you need to go win some money by gambling on these late night games on DraftKings. Can you believe that we're this deep in the NFL season? Well, check it out. We got to make every second count. And with the DraftKings Sportsbook app, you can make the most out of every game day. You can bet on your favorite teams for a shot at winning big bucks. And right now, new customers can score $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on any NFL matchup. That's right. Any NFL matchup right now, $5, you get $150 instantly in bonus bets. You want to bet your hometown team, you want to bet away team. It's all there for you. And remember, if you're returning customers, always great game day deals and boosts and offers going down on the DraftKings app. And you can always do your multi-game or same-game parlay. So get in on the action with the DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. You download the app now. Use the code TBOB. Okay, if you're a new customer, TBOB, new customers, $150 instantly in bonus bets for betting just $5 on the NFL. Only on DraftKings Sportsbook with code TBOB. The crown is yours. Geraldo says, I would like to see Bama and Washington, good DBs against NFL type wide receivers. I agree. I was very impressed with Washington in the trenches Friday, but I struggled to see them. Oof, at Alabama.
Is Alabama the best team in the country?
No, I mean, I think Michigan is still would have a very good chance of beating them. If not, I think I would favor Michigan slightly in that. Washington would have a chance. I'm not saying they wouldn't. I mean, look at what you saw what NFL receivers did to that Bama secondary when Malik Neighbors and Brian Thomas played him.
Yeah.
It's funny, dude. Jaden Daniels looked pretty good against Alabama.
I think Alabama would lift Washington's defensive line and break them in half.
I kind of feel the same. But I don't know. Keith Wilson Jr., $5 super chat. Salute my guys. I wish people would stop bringing up TCU as an example for FSU not to get in. But they never mentioned them clunking Michigan in the head. No, exactly. TCU is why, if people are doing that, they're being dumb. TCU is why FSU should get in because they beat Michigan.
Yeah.
They didn't have to win the Natty. They beat Michigan. That's the entire point. It's like everybody sucking off Oregon all year and then they lose on Friday. All right, real quick before we get out of here, Aaron. So, final playoff predictions. We think Michigan's going to beat Iowa. They are in.
Michigan 1, Washington
2.
Texas 3, FSU 4.
So right now,
I think Texas is going to be.
Is Texas in with a Michigan win? Am I being dumb?
Am I being dumb too? I think Texas is in, right?
Or if FSU wins, are they automatically in at 3?
No, I think Texas would go in at 4. Or I think Texas would go in at 3, FSU 4. They keep FSU in, but I don't think they're not going to give the number 1 seed the harder
And so
game.
if FSU loses, then it's going to be Alabama and Texas and Georgia out, you're saying?
Yes.
Does Ohio State come back
in?
Does Ohio State come back in?
Am I
no, it kind of feels
someone?
like no, it kind of feels like Texas is in. The only way Texas is not in is would be if they took Alabama,
Michigan or Alabama or Texas is in.
No, they'd have to take Alabama. They'd have to take Alabama over Texas. Texas is in.
Yeah. Texas is in.
Texas
Hell yeah.
may do, bro. If Texas gets in, and there's
no,
you know what? No, fuck this. Extend this. If you make a college football playoff and there's no Nick Saban or Kirby Smart there, you better fucking win that natty. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Harbaugh, okay. Washington. Okay. Texas, FSU. I feel bad for you. You're kind of fucked, but like if you get in and there's no Saban or Smart in that tournament, do not let that opportunity go. What? I never would have fathomed that we would have seen something like that. If that somehow happens, guys, you got to realize what you have there and you got to take advantage of it, because Lord knows when the next time that's going to be the case. It will never be the case with a 12-team playoff. This is your last opportunity, potentially. We'll see.
Texas is in, boys. Wow.
Texas is in. That's
I think they're the 3 seed. I think so
too, actually.
Yeah.
After what they did today. I think so too.
Hook them. Hook them.
Hook them indeed. All right. That'll do it. Again, guys, please hit the like button, if you will. Subscribe to the channel. We're Snaps College Football Show. We love doing this. So much fun, y'all. And we love and hate everyone, to be clear, right? Like hate and love are 2 sides of the same coin. So just know that it's all with love and hate. If you're listening on podcast, rate a review. Huge thank you to Chris Tran, Pat Gunther, Danny Cardenas, Adam Gracia, Christian Hunter, everybody helps put together a show. Boy, Ryan Brumley. Shout out to everyone hanging out in chat. Thank you for all listening and hanging out with us. Aaron, I'll be checking in some way or another next week. We'll figure out some stuff. But I'm going to go head off to Disney now.
Have fun.
Enjoy. Okay, I will. I'm going to miss you. I almost don't want the show to end because it's been so much fun today hanging out with y'all. Eric Garrett, T-Bob's love seeing Aaron suffer. That's not true. It is a bit like the meme, even though I know this isn't Aaron's first time, but it's the meme with James Franco where he's getting hung and he's looking over the other dude. He's like, first time, huh? Like, yeah, look, we've been here before. So I just know how my homie's feeling. And misery loves company. It's like somebody walks into hell and it's your partner and you're like, oh shit, you ended up here too. What's up, dude? Fuck me. At least we're going to get eternally tortured forever.
All right, T, let's go watch some football.
All right, later, dude. Y'all take it easy. We'll see you later.